Very good morning to all. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the concept of thermocouple type instrument and electrostatic type instrument, their construction, working principle, expression for deflection torque, and advantages and disadvantages. So the first topic which we are going to cover is thermocouple type instrument. So thermocouple type instruments works on the principle of thermoelectric effect. Now what is thermoelectric effect? It is nothing but a effect, or you can say a mechanism, with the help of which we are in a position to generate EMF, which is also known as thermo EMF, as an output if we maintain a temperature difference between two junctions, and the arrangement is nothing but thermocouple. So according to this effect, when the two metals, to be very specific, these two metals are totally different from each other, they must have different work function, or you can say different properties, and when they are placed together in such a way that they will form two junctions, and suppose if both the junctions are maintained at two different temperatures, then they will have a temperature difference between them, and this is responsible for the formation of EMF. That EMF is also known as thermo EMF, and the arrangement is known as thermocouple. So this is the basic working principle behind thermocouple type instrument. These type of instruments are capable to work on both AC as well as on DC, but normally thermocouple type instruments are used for the measurement of AC quantity such as voltage or current, which are varying with a very high frequency rate. To be very specific, these type of instruments are very accurate, or they are capable to work with a great efficiency when the input AC quantity vary with a very high frequency rate above 50 megahertz. So from this statement we can conclude that thermocouple type instruments are used for the measurement of AC quantity which have a very high frequency rate. Normally they are preferable to measure those AC quantities only. Now this indicate a basic arrangement for a thermocouple type instrument. So from this diagram it is very clear that it has a heating coil, or you can say a heater, which is going to create a temperature difference between the two junctions of a thermocouple, and the output EMF, which is nothing but a thermo EMF, is going to measure with the help of PMMC type instrument. And as we have connected a PMMC type instrument, so from this it is clear that the nature of that output EMF, which is nothing but a thermo EMF, is a DC, and as it is DC, therefore we have used PMMC instrument for the measurement of that voltage. Now on this slide it is mentioned that if we maintain a temperature difference between two junctions, and that temperature difference is responsible for the production of EMF according to thermoelectric effect, and that EMF we are going to measure with the help of PMMC type instrument. Now we know that heating effect is produced because of RMS value of current, and that heat energy is responsible for the creation of temperature difference between two junctions. So I can say that with the help of PMMC type instrument we are in a position to measure the RMS value of input current. Now let us try to discuss the working principle of thermocouple type instrument via flow diagram. So in this case we are having the basic input quantity as current. So input electrical quantity is I. This input electrical quantity is converted into heat energy, that is I square RT, according to Joule's effect. Then this heat energy is responsible for the formation of temperature difference between the two junctions of thermocouple. Now this temperature difference is responsible for the formation of EMF, which is nothing but electrical energy, and this EMF is also known as thermo EMF, and the principle used over here is nothing but thermoelectric effect, and the arrangement is thermocouple. And finally the value of this EMF we are going to measure with the help of PMMC type instrument, and hence we are having output as theta. So this is the basic flow diagram in order to understand the concept of thermocouple instrument. So input electrical quantity is first of all converted into heat energy via Joule's effect, then that heat energy is responsible for the formation of temperature difference, then that temperature difference is responsible for the formation of EMF via thermoelectric effect by using the mechanism of thermocouple, and then that magnitude of thermo EMF we are going to measure with the help of PMMC type instrument. Now let us try to derive the output equation in case of thermocouple type instrument. The expression for thermo EMF is given by equation number 1. So here capital E indicate the magnitude of thermo EMF which is developed by thermocouple arrangement, which is equals to small a in bracket T1 minus T2 plus small b in bracket T1 minus T2 whole square. So in this equation, T1, T2 indicate the temperatures of respective junction. So let us consider that we are having two junctions indicated by symbol J1 and J2. So J1 indicate first junction and J2 indicate second junction. T1 and T2 indicate the temperatures of J1 and J2 junctions respectively in degrees Celsius, and here we have assumed that the magnitude of temperature of junction 1 is more as compared to junction 2. So T1 is more than T2, and small a and small b are nothing but constant, and their value depends upon the type of material which we have selected for the fabrication of thermocouple arrangement. Now let us consider that the difference in temperature is indicated by symbol delta theta. Again it is going to be in degrees Celsius. So mathematically we can write delta theta is nothing but T1 minus T2. Now equation number 1 we can write. Now simply we need to replace T1 minus T2 by the expression delta theta. So we can write equation 1 as E equals to A delta theta plus B delta theta whole square. Let that equation number 2. Now from equation number 2, so let us go back. So from this equation it is very clear that E is proportional to delta theta square. That means we can write the thermo EMF follow a parabolic function of temperature difference between the two junctions. This is very important. Now the values of A and B. How to decide the value of A and B? So experimentally it was found that the value of A is in the range of 40 to 50 microvolt per degree Celsius of the temperature difference, and the value of B is few tenth, or you can say few hundred of microvolt per degree Celsius of temperature difference. So from this we can say that if you compare the magnitude of A and magnitude of B, B is very small as compared to A. So by using the previous logic, if you consider the temperature difference between the two junctions as 100 degrees Celsius, and if you assume the value of A as 40 microvolt per degree Celsius and B as 0.1 microvolt per degree Celsius, then you will find the value of thermocouple EMF is around 5 millivolt. Now we know that in case of thermocouple instrument, this temperature difference is proportional to the value of current flowing through heating element, and that's why we can write here as delta theta is proportional to I square R, and this equation we can write as delta theta equals to K1 multiplied by I square R. This K1 is nothing but a constant of proportionality. Let that equation number 3. Now we know that equation number 2 is nothing but E equals to A delta theta plus B delta theta whole square. Now in this equation, as I told you that if you compare the magnitude of B with respect to A, B is very small as compared to A. Therefore equation number 2 we can write as E is approximately equals to A into delta theta. Let that equation number 4. Now what we are going to do, we have the expression of delta theta in terms of I square into R. So from equation number 3 we are going to write E approximately equals to A into K1 into I square into R. Let that equation number 5. Now because the magnitude of this thermo EMF is going to be measured with the help of PMMC type instrument, and we know that in case of PMMC type instrument the output mechanical angle theta is proportional to I and I is proportional to E. So we can write here as theta equals to K2 multiplied by E, where K2 is nothing but a proportionality constant. Let that equation number 6. Now what we are going to do, we will combine equation 5 and equation number 6. So we can write here as theta equals to K2 multiplied by E, but E is nothing but A into K1 into I square into R. Now in this equation, if you observe carefully, K1, K2, small a and capital R all are nothing but constant. So we are going to replace them by another constant indicated by symbol K3. So finally we can write here as theta equals to K3 multiplied by I square, or you can say that theta is proportional to I square. So this is the final expression of mechanical angle theta in case of thermocouple type instrument. And from this equation it is very clear that the output mechanical angle theta vary non-linearly with respect to input in electrical current I. So from this equation we can also conclude that this instrument follow square law response, and hence the scale of that particular instrument is definitely going to be a non-linear one. Now this figure indicate the schematic view of a thermocouple type instrument when it is used as an ammeter and when it is used as a voltmeter. Now in case of voltmeter, we need to connect a high value of resistor in series with a heating element just to make or just to provide the required amount of voltage across the heating coil. Now construction wise, with respect to previous figure, we know that the thermocouple type instrument is consisting of three main elements. First one is called as heating element, second one is called as measuring unit, and third one is called as ATC, which is nothing but automatic temperature compensation. Now what is the purpose of heating element? Heating element is used to produce the required amount of heat energy, which in turn supplied as an input to thermocouple arrangement to have faithful temperature difference, and then that faithful temperature difference is responsible for the creation of what? Thermo EMF. And in order to measure the value of that thermo EMF, we need to use an instrument, and that instrument is nothing but PMMC type instrument. And what is the objective of using ATC? So ATC is used to correct the changes in the ambient temperature. Now what are the advantages of thermocouple instrument? First advantage is this type of instruments are used to measure the value of unknown quantity, that too RMS. Why? Because RMS is nothing but root mean square, and that is the quantity which is responsible to have heating effect. Then this type of instruments are not affected by stray magnetic field. The reason is very simple, because this type of instruments works on the principle of thermocouple mechanism. So there is no concept of internal magnetic field, and as there is no concept of internal magnetic field, the distributions are not affected, and hence this type of instruments are not affected by external stray magnetic field. This type of instruments are also free from frequency error, and hence they are capable to use over a wide range of supply frequency. And normally thermocouple type instruments are used for the measurement of AC quantity, which vary with a very high frequency rate above 50 megahertz. And as the magnitude of thermo EMF is measured with the help of PMMC type instrument, and from the knowledge of our previous lecture, we know that PMMC type instruments are having a very high torque to weight ratio, and they offer very high sensitivity, and that is the reason this type of instruments also have very high sensitivity. Now drawback. The disadvantage of this instrument is that this type of instrument have a very small value of overload capacity. The reason is very simple. If you see its working principle, here the input quantity is first converted into heat energy by using the principle of Joule's effect. So from that equation we know that heat energy is proportional to the square value of current. That means if the value of current is increased by 2 unit, heat energy is increased by square of that particular value. So definitely the overload capacity of this instrument is very small. Now let us discuss the second topic of this lecture, that is electrostatic instrument. In case of electrostatic instrument, the required amount of deflection torque is produced by the action of electric field on a charged conductor. Now what is the meaning of this? We know that according to Coulomb's law, when we are having two charges, if they are maintained at two different polarity, they will experience a force of attraction, and if they are maintained at same polarity, they will experience a force of repulsion. Now, suppose if we are having two parallel plates which are finite distance apart from each other, and when they are maintained at two different polarity, then they will experience a force of attraction. And in this case, we can say that the magnitude of force which is experienced by those parallel plate is decided by charge maintained on those plate, which is indirectly decided by the applied voltage. So from this we can say that with the help of this electrostatic instrument we are in a position to measure the value of applied voltage, because we know that the force of attraction, or you can say force of repulsion, between those two parallel plates is proportional to the charge maintained on them, and the charge which we are going to maintain on those plates are decided by the applied voltage. So I can say that with the help of this instrument we are in a position to measure the value of applied voltage. Now what we need to do, out of those two plates, one plate is kept fixed and the another plate is movable in nature, and the required amount of controlling torque is produced with the help of spring mechanism. Now what we are going to do, the plate which is movable in nature, we need to connect a pointer to that particular plate, and depending upon the force of attraction, or you can say force of repulsion, the moving plate is try to move towards, or it will try to move away with respect to the fixed plate. And if you connect a pointer to a movable plate, then in that case we are in a position to measure the value of force, hence we are in a position to measure the value of applied voltage. So the same thing is mentioned over here. So let us consider the schematic view for linear motion type electrostatic instrument. So from this figure it is very clear that here we are having two parallel plates, plate A indicated by a plus sign, that means we are maintaining a positive charge on plate A, and plate B indicated by negative sign, that means we are maintaining a net negative charge on plate B, out of which plate A is fixed and plate B is movable in nature, and to plate B we have connected a pointer and a spring mechanism. So from this diagram we can say that the required amount of controlling torque is produced with the help of spring control mechanism. Now because these two plates are maintained at two different polarity, there is a force of attraction between them, because the plate A is fixed and there is only one possibility that plate B is going to move towards the plate A. And suppose if you connect a pointer to plate B, then in that case we are in a position to measure the final deflection angle theta, or you can say here in this case we are in a position to measure a linear displacement dx, or you can say x. So the same mechanism we can implement in rotational motion. So here we are having fixed plate and movable plate in this particular fashion, and instead of having linear displacement, here we are having angular displacement d theta. So here we are having the concept of torque. Now let us try to derive the expression for deflection angle theta in the case of electrostatic instrument. We know that in case of parallel plate capacitor, the energy stored is given by E equals to half CV square, where C is the capacitance between the two parallel plate and V is the applied voltage across them. Now in our case, let us consider that the applied voltage is increased by a small amount dV, and if the applied voltage is increased by a small amount dV, because of which what will happen, the plate B is try to move by a small distance dx toward plate A. So if you see this diagram carefully, the upper one diagram, now in this case if you increase the value of supplied voltage by a small amount dV, then what will happen, because of that the magnitude of force is increased by a small value dF, and because of that reason the plate B is try to move toward plate A by a small linear distance dx. So the same thing is mentioned over here, and during this process the value of current, which is nothing but a capacitive current flowing through the circuit, is given by I equals to dq by dt. Let that equation number 2. Now we know that Q is nothing but charge, which is nothing but the product of C and V. So we can write Q equals to CV, therefore equation number 2 we can write as I equals to dq by dt, which is going to be equal to d by dt of CV. Now here we need to apply the property of derivative, that means first into derivative of second plus second into derivative of first. So if you apply the property of derivative, you will get equation number 3. Now from this equation we are trying to calculate the mathematical expression for input electrical energy. Actually, in order to derive the expression of torque in case of electrostatic instrument, here we need to apply the concept of law of conservation of energy. The same logic we have implemented while we are deriving the expression of torque in case of EMMC type instrument. In case of EMMC type instrument, first of all we have derived the mathematical expression for input electrical energy. Then we derive the expression for change in energy stored in magnetic field, but here we are having electrostatic field. So definitely we are going to derive the expression for change in energy stored with respect to electric field. And then in order to calculate the value of mechanical energy, what we need to do? We need to subtract input electrical energy and change in energy stored. So the same logic we need to apply over here, but the thing is that in case of EMMC we are having magnetic field, here we are having electrostatic field. So input electrical energy is given by, so what we need to do, energy is nothing but the product of voltage and current and time. So if you multiply equation number 3 by voltage, you will get power. If you multiply equation number 3 by small time dt, you will get energy. So the same logic is implemented over here. Therefore we can write input electrical energy E in is nothing but Vi dt, which is going to be equal to Cv dV plus V square into dc. And if you make some rearrangement, we can write here as input electrical energy is nothing but V square into dc plus Cv into dV. Let that equation number 4. You have to remember this equation, that is equation number 4. Now we need to calculate change in energy stored. So we can write the expression for change in energy stored is nothing but half Cv square. Now as I told you that the voltage is increased by a small value dV, so corresponding to the increase in voltage by a small value dV, the capacitance is also increased by a small value dc. So therefore we can write change in input, or you can say change in energy stored, it is going to be equal to half C plus dc into V plus dV whole square minus half Cv square. So in this equation, this quantity indicate the energy stored in an electric field due to the increase in applied voltage by an amount of dV, and this equation indicate the amount of energy stored in that electric field previously. So if you are interested to calculate what will be the energy stored, definitely we need to subtract final value with respect to previous value. So the same thing we are going to do over here. So this C plus dc indicate change in the capacitance due to increase in the applied voltage by dV, and this V plus dV indicate change in the applied voltage by a small value, that is nothing but dV. So if you solve this particular equation and if you neglect the higher order term, you will get this equation as change in energy stored is nothing but half V square into dc plus C into V into dV. That equation number 5. You need to take pen paper and you need to solve this equation, and you need to neglect the higher order term because of their small magnitude, and finally you will get equation number 5. So from equation number 4 we know the value of input electrical energy. From equation number 5 we know the value of change in energy stored, and then from equation 4 and 5 we are going to calculate the value of mechanical energy, which is nothing but your output. So here we need to apply law of conservation of energy, and therefore we can write input electrical energy is nothing but change in energy stored plus output mechanical energy, and therefore we can write output mechanical energy as input electrical energy minus change in energy stored. And hence from equation 4 and 5 we can write this mechanical energy, which is nothing but F into dx. Now in this case, why we have written F into dx? Because we are deriving this expression for linear motion, and in case of linear motion, mechanical energy is nothing but the product of force and displacement. That's why we are having F component and linear displacement indicated by symbol dx, which is going to be equal to, this is nothing but input electrical energy, and this indicate change in energy stored from equation number 5. So if you solve this equation, you will get F into dx, which is going to be equal to half V square into dc. and if you make some arrangement, we can write output mechanical force F is going to be equal to half V square into dc by dx. So this is the final expression of force developed by electrostatic instrument when it is used as a linear arrangement. So this is the expression for linear motion. Now let us try to derive this expression when the instrument is used as a rotational motion. So what we need to do, we need to make some changes. So in linear, we are having linear displacement dx. That linear displacement is replaced by angular deflection d theta, and in case of linear motion we are having force as an output. So here we are having deflection torque Td as an output. So if you make these changes, so instead of writing force here, we need to write deflection torque Td, then half V square dc by dx, so that dx is replaced by angular deflection d theta. So I can say that this equation indicates the value of deflection torque produced by electrostatic instrument for rotational motion. Now from the schematic view of electrostatic type instrument, there we have connected a spring, and that spring is responsible for the production of what? Controlling torque. So at steady state condition, we can write the magnitude of controlling torque is going to be equal to the magnitude of deflection torque. So controlling torque is nothing but Kc into theta, where Kc indicate spring constant. So it is going to be equal to half V square dc by d theta. And if you make rearrangement, we can write theta is nothing but half V square by Kc into dc by d theta. So this is the expression of mechanical angle theta produced by electrostatic instrument when it is used in a rotational motion. This equation you need to remember. So finally we are having this equation, and from this equation we can conclude that the instrument obey, or you can say the mechanical angle theta is proportional to the square of applied voltage. Hence it follows a square law response, and as the output mechanical quantities vary non-linearly with respect to input electrical quantity, the scale is non-uniform. These things you have to remember. Thank you.